What is going on? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Make sure we got the volume on because we got a lot to talk about today. Our guy Sean McDermott got paid, and I got my man Mookie Hawkins, 14180, power 96.5, Bills writer in the building. Let's talk about this McDermott extension. That it wasn't a matter of if, it was more of a matter of when, and today happened to be the day. So Mook, what is going on, man?
Well, I mean, obviously, you always got to take care of the people that take care of you. And, before, Coach McDermott got here, the Rex Ryan debacle was a mess. And, for him to come in and fix that in just a short period of time. And, right now, the Bills are a legitimate contender. Only in, going into year 4, the Bills are a legitimate contender. Guys, want to come to Buffalo to play because, he's changed the culture, and the team has bought year in and year out, and these are the rewards. I mean, they go out and they play for him, and he speaks their language. He speaks their language as well. So, hey, job well done, much deserved.
Yeah, definitely. So I know a couple questions are going to arrive. Like I said, obviously, no one really knew what Sean McDermott's contract was when he first hired for Buffalo because the information was never disclosed. So people were left wondering actually how long Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane were actually signed to. So today we actually found that they both had 5-year deals, which was at the time was the going rate for coaches. We had just given Rex Ryan a 5-year deal. That was the time of the deals. So now that we know they're both signed to 5-year deals, he had 2 years left on his deal going into this season, and we signed him to what, 4 more years?
He had 1 more year going in, so you add the 2 plus. So the contract runs to 2025, so it's 6 seasons that he will be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Right. So I mean, why now? Why today all of a sudden? And can we expect Brandon Beane on the bad burner pretty soon?
Oh yeah. It's just a matter of time before Brandon Beane signs as well. I mean, that's how this was all came to be. So they were locked in the hip coming in. Brandon Beane has been Coach McDermott's guy since day one. Going all the way back to Carolina. So it's kind of like a perfect match. So it's no offense to Doug Whaley. It's just at the end of the day, it's like a new coach with a quarterback there. You're not my guy. So I got to bring my type of guys. The only way that this process is going to work because, Brandon Beane knows the type of players. He knows my scheme. He knows my system. He knows the players that I'm looking for to bring in here. So it's no knock on Doug Whaley at all. It's just the nature of the business of the game. And look how has that paid great dividends, for the franchise. You bring in 2 guys that think alike. They're familiar with each other. They've been successful. All right. So and that process still remains right here on One Bills Drive.
Right. So with knowing that he signed for 6 years and he's here through 2025, and I've obviously talking to Pat Freeman earlier, and he told a little joke. Normally after the Pagulas give a contract extension, we kind of know what happens. All right,
That's why they hurry up. That's why they hurry up and got this thing done, because they know a good thing when they see it. Okay, right. They know a good thing when they see it. I mean, the transformation just speaks volume. I don't think this has been this much of a turnaround. I can say that the San Francisco 49ers, they were down, and then all of a sudden they made it to the Super Bowl, but really to restructure a whole franchise from top to bottom in this short period of time speaks volumes to the Pagulas.
Right. Well, make sure you guys are sharing the show. Put your comments on the screen. We're gonna we'll read some off for those. If you have any questions for Mookie or myself, put them up there, and we'll get them on the screen as we go through the show today. So with this contract extension happened today, he's done. Obviously, we're gonna focus on Brandon Beane going next forward with the Pagulas. Do you think that there was perhaps possibly any pressure on the Pagulas to get this deal done, especially with the debacle that's kind of going on with the Sabres right now? Was that added pressure to say, hey, we need to get our guy locked in? Because obviously they had Sean McDermott asking questions about the Sabres less than about a month ago.
Right, and that's something he's football. He don't know anything about hockey. If you ask a football guy a hockey question, that's not his forte. You know, what I mean, his job is being the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and how he controls things within the football realm of things that he can control. As far as what's going on with the Sabres, I mean, the Bakulas, they weren't sports people, so they got to learn as well. Now they have the money, of course, but being sports people, and how this business works is a different type of business. So, and they had to learn that, and it took first and foremost the Rex Ryan, and they learned their lesson from that. So, how do we fix that? We bring in people that that know what they're doing from a top to bottom standpoint. That knows what he wants to do, how to build a franchise. So they did a great job of researching that guy and bringing in Coach McDermott, and then Coach McDermott brought in his guys, which is Brandon Beane, and here we are. 4 years later, they're getting extended. Well, Beane is close, but they're
Right.
getting extended for turning the program around. It's a different feel in Buffalo right now. I mean, during this pandemic, we're still excited about what's yet to come with this, because during all these interviews, that's all you hear. You hear the new guys talk about, I wanted to come to a place where to win a championship. When have we ever heard that? We haven't heard that in a long time from players coming from other places on why they came to Buffalo. You know what I mean? So that's letting you know that Coach McDermott has definitely changed the culture in the building, and it's a winning culture now. Anything else is just uncivilized at this point. I mean, we had a division run right now, but possibly this thing could be a Super Bowl run, man. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you.
No, and you know what? You're right about the championship caliber feeling. It really is championship caliber, and I mean, it's not even about drinking the Kool-Aid. It's can we get this Kool-Aid made, and can we get it? Can we put it in the fridge and take it out this year? That's essentially what we're looking at. And as far as the championship caliber, yeah, we haven't heard players say that. We haven't heard players say that since Bryce Popper, Chris Spillman coming to town. That's literally when the last time we heard that. When Mario Williams came to town, when T.O. came to town, when those guys signed here for big and were big signings, the moniker for them was, we got to break the drought. We got to get to the playoffs. There was never any talk about championship at all.
Right. They was just, they were settling for less, and then we didn't even get that at the end of the day. But when you bring in a guy who knows what he wants as a first year head coach, right now it came to trusting the process, and now it's finding a way. You know what I mean? So every year the coach come out with these great themes year in year out to get his players motivated, and it has done tremendous things for the organization. So great day. Great day. I know that, he's glad that it's out of the way. I know that the players are happy to know that that's out of the way, because, he's an influence to a lot of players. I mean, look at all the players that, coach with him, that played with him in Carolina, that have been other places, but now understands that culture and want to be a part of it now. So, that's, great job for Coach McDermott.
No, and I totally agree. And I look at his mentor in Andy Reid, and I think the comparison is there with Andy as far as being a player's coach. We've never really heard Andy have riffs with his players. He's always gained the respect of his players, no matter what the record of the team was. He always put a championship caliber team on the field. Even if they didn't get over the hump, they were contending. With the Eagles, they contended every year, and he instantly turned the Chiefs around. So do you think that Sean McDermott is going to possibly have to wait as long as Andy Reid did to hoist that trophy for the first time?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying it was just a learning curve. Like, a real Bills fan is going to really have a sour taste in their mouth for what we saw in Houston. Players is sick right now. I'm still sick. I'm going through withdrawal still over that game. And, it seems like they're on a mission right now. And, I understand it's a pandemic going on and all that, but the Bills are on a mission right now. And right now they're locked in. They're addressing the season as is, there's no pandemic going on. They're locked into, what they have to do as far as building that team chemistry and gaining more continuity as a team. And, that's all they're caring about right now, just staying safe and get ready to, go to battle for this division, because I mean they know what's at stake, and they're not trying to fall off, not one bit, especially when it's right for the picking right now. So you might as well go ahead and attack it aggressively. Let's just run downhill and just get what's rightfully ours at this point. So right now they locked in, man. And I'm telling you, I mean, every guy that I interviewed, from Diggs to AJ Klein to Josh Norman, you hear those words like, when I look around what they got in this building, and the type of people that's here, I want to be a part of that. I want to end my career. I want to win. We have never heard that, not out of one player, but all the players that come here. So it's like I say, it's a special. It's some type of glow in all of them in these Zoom meetings, that you see that these guys are really excited. They revved up to go, and they just can't wait to go out there and play some football, to let everybody know that we're taking over this AFC East thing. Not only this year, but hey, as long as Coach McDermott's around, we got a chance to win it every year at this point.
Well, I mean, that's what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott both preached as they came to Buffalo. It was like, listen, we're not just trying to break the drought. We're not just trying to do this thing one season. We're trying to build a consistent contender. And when you look at now, he's here for the next 6 years. Essentially, Brandon Beane will probably be as well. You got a young quarterback who looks extremely promising to Josh Allen. You got 2 young running backs who won't have to be re-signed for at least three years. Absolutely. You have a stout defense. So, and we'll take a couple questions in a minute. Who's the first player to this process to get an extension, in your opinion here?
Well, you got to look at their draft. Their first draft was Tre'Davious. So, I mean, we're going through the motions with him right now as far as that process goes. But there's no doubt in my mind that he will be the highest paid cornerback, when it's his time. They picked up his 5th-year option. So my guess is once they're going to take care of Deion Dawkins first. Deion Dawkins was the next guy in line. So Deion Dawkins, I feel, is going to get paid. Going to be the next guy as far as players concerned. You still have Matt Milano to deal with. And then after that, you go back to Trey. We keep talking about that Milano and Deion Dawkins.
Ankle biter.
At times, not all the time. But in Coach McDermott's system, you have to be a sure tackler. And there's been times where, he's shown that he hasn't been. Something that he has to work on. Year 4, everybody has to improve on something each year. So, we give him that one. We definitely give him that. But we're gonna let him know that we see that too. So with that being said, you look at McDermott, and when he's been here since 2017, just look at the totals. I mean, here's a guy that they ranked 10th in points allowed at 20, yards per allowed since 2017. They ranked 5th at 315 yards. Passing yards allowed, they only 2nd since 2017. Just about 200 yards a game. Opponents' third down percentage is in the top 10 at 36%, and their opponents' passer rating is at 80. That's 3rd since 2017. So since Coach McDermott has been in here, that defense has been every bit as advertised. And hey, now it's all about scoring points. So that's a whole nother spectrum to talk about. But job well done, Coach McDermott. You deserve it, And then look at the toxicity that he had to embrace. We coming in, we got Tyrod Taylor. You got all these guys in these crazy hefty contracts. We were cap strapped. So, for these guys to not only do what they were able to do to trade guys and move people around and still manage to make the playoffs 2 out of those 3 years, I don't think that's heard of. You haven't witnessed that anywhere. Now here it is in year 4. We drafting. We gave away our 1st round pick. So that's a recipe for success. When you give away your 1st round, when you trade away your 1st round pick, that means you are on the right track, because all the guys that you have are really in the building. You know what I mean? They didn't need a starter. So you look at the Bills where we are right now. We don't need a starter. Not this year. Right. Next year. Right. Everybody's under contract. So right now it's just about the future. The future is Tremaine Edmonds and Josh Allen. Once they figure out the dynamics on how they can strategically address those contracts and extend those guys, hopefully sooner than later, then maybe you'll see Tre'Davious White get his extension sooner than where everybody expects. But
Right.
that's where they are right now. And then with this new salary cap thing kind of hinders a little bit. So that's why you probably see the, you know, the derailment of Deion Dawkins or Milano or Trey White at this point. But
yeah,
good job.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to go with one player that's going to get an extension first, I'm gonna go with Deion. I'm with you. I'm gonna go with Deion because I think for one, you don't get rid of left tackles. We've learned that when we let Jason Peters out the door, it took us a long while to replace him.
Yeah.
So you don't let left tackles.
A lot of draft picks too.
Right. You don't let left tackles go out the door. So I'm gonna go with Deion. Plus, he's a locker room leader. Let's not understand. Deion's a fun guy. He's charismatic, but best believe he's a big time leader on that team. And he's
the big brother of the offense, man. You know, anything on the offense, you know, Deion. You gotta go through Deion on that offense, man.
Exactly. So we'll take care of him first. Like I said, I'm still not sold on the Milano deal. We'll see what happens. I know through the grapevine that they're trying to get deals done for both of them, but Milano may have outpriced himself in Buffalo, and I'm not knocking him.
Milano might want to be here though.
He might.
Never know. Sometimes some people can, you know, withstand, you know, sacrificing. Okay, just give me $8 million a year, then 12. You know, I can manage. I just want to win. I want to be here. He gives me that. You know, he gives me that notion. You know, it's not like a guy like, hey, you know, I want all what's coming to me. You know, some people be like that. But sometimes some people be like, hey, man, you know, this is way more worth, you know, being a part of something than, you know, a few extra $1 million. You know, some people are like that. Maybe that's the case because if we are able to lock him up, let's say you give him like a 3-year deal. Go give him a 3-year deal somewhere like that. And he's abided by that. We get him locked up. We don't have to. Our draft is going to be crazy. We'll be trading away draft picks, or you know, it's a good problem to have as a general manager at that point. Spending what he had to go through to get it to this point.
Right.
I mean, they did a phenomenal job from top to bottom, and you know, it's a reflection of, you know, how the players are. They love it. You know, the players love it. It's not a bad thing they can say about the franchise or the organization. You know, it's just been a great deal to see how the Bills have just transformed this thing in a matter of 3 years. You know,
right. No, I totally agree. I always anoint a GM being good as if they can pull what I call the Ozzie Newsome playbook, meaning you resign your core players, you get those guys locked up, but instantly when you have players that are going to outprice themselves on the market and things and such, you replace them with your draft picks immediately. So now your first round picks, who are probably in the tail end of the 20s and 30s in the first round, those guys are coming in and they're being immediate starters for the departing second linebacker, departing second corner, the departing second DN or second D tackle. Still impact players, but if you're going by that model and that playbook and you're not consistently having to draft for immediate impact, then that means you're winning ball games consistently.
Right. So, you know, it don't matter when you come from a combine and say, you know what, what do we do with this pick at 22? Who are we going to take? When you sitting around and you look like, I just don't think that who can we pick at 22? You know what? Get Minnesota on the line. See if they want this pick for Stephon Diggs. And we can sweeten the deal too. Let's just get a more polished guy. You know what I mean? That's their way of thinking. You know what I mean? I didn't think that they were going to do something like that. You know, you brought in Smoke, you brought in Sauce the year before. You know, the next thing to do is bring a younger guy in, a draftee, someone that you know that's going to be here and grow with Josh. But they ended up doing, hey, we don't feel that a receiver is capable, especially with the development of Josh. We need a dog right now. So they pulled the trigger on Stephon Diggs. So, you know, we are making splash moves on top of this, you know, and we have not made any splash. You know, now Doug Whaley started it. I can say that Doug Whaley started it, but these guys has definitely held up to their end of the stick, man. They've been drafting well on top of it, and they've been bringing in guys. You know, hey, they wanted AB here, they did, and hey, AB showed out, and it pissed Brandon Beane off. And you know what? I think that kind of lit a fire in the players as well, just to see him pissed off like that, to understand like, hey, what's wrong with Buffalo? You know what I mean? He felt a certain kind of way about that, and
Right.
you know that and you know what? Bills Mafia, all the fans, they fell in love with that, and that's what we want out of our general manager.
Right.
You know, so hey, I think that kind of lit a fire in our players as well. Now, hey, we got Stephon Diggs. Some people feel that right now he's better than AB. So
Right. Right. Well, let me ask you this question. Because Brandon Beane has been successful, and because Sean McDermott has been successful, two-part question here. What specifically in your mind has separated them from the past head coach GM combinations? And what has set Brandon Beane ahead of the likes of, and I'm going to put him ahead of John Butler because Butler inherited Polian's team, in my opinion. But the Tom Donahos, the Buddy Nixons, and I mean, like I said, I know we're both fans of Doug Whaley. I feel like if there was no Doug Whaley, there would be no Sean McDermott or Brandon Beane here in this situation, because that team that he flipped from Buddy Nix actually came with assets.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to throw one more point in there for the Doug Whaley haters. This Sean McDermott hire was the only head coach search that Doug Whaley was allowed to head. So we still owe that man, and I don't care what you say, some bit of gratification. Just gonna call it.
No, Whaley was on the right track. He just didn't have no support. Once all his ties left, Buddy Nix was his tie. You know, that's who groomed him. You know, and all his Pittsburgh ties I was in the building left. He was kind of like by himself on top of a leadership change, or ownership change. You know, so it's like, hey, you just got here. Y'all just hired me. This guy been here. So I don't want to make it seem like our job is not getting done because of this guy. He's not my guy. You know what I mean? So let me bring my guy in. So if this thing don't work, it's all on me. And that's how things went. Now, Doug Whaley did come in here and he drafted BCS ball players. He drafted guys in here that was from winning successful programs. It was just that he never had chemistry with a head coach. And that's, was Whaley's fate. He never had chemistry with Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan come in with this mantra and all this moxie of who he is and his dad is and all that stuff. He was for the glitz in the camera and the marketability portion. Something that, really, Russ Brandon was spearheading. Whaley really didn't have control over, like you just said. He didn't have control over, bringing in his guy. He would have been brought his guy in, and maybe you could have saw some of the successes that Sean McDermott is having right now. But, he was the escape guy. I get that. We understand that. But all the guys that he drafted, and you can't even say that he drafted E.J. Manuel because, that's Buddy Nick's last pick. All those guys played in Super Bowls already. Everybody we didn't pick, that Whaley just about picked, they didn't play it in the Super Bowl or, got paid somewhere else. So the guys that he did, brought in, were superior guys enough for us to win some ball games. It's just that it didn't mess with the coaching. And once you don't have that chemistry of a general manager or coaching, is friction. So now, it's a tug of war. So it boils down to the ownership making a final decision. They made their final decision. And, that's how they are learning from that, learning from all of that quick. They understood like, hey, let's just get, this. He was here before us too. So let's just bring a whole new face in. So that's Whaley was just about the odd guy out. You know what I mean? That's all that happened. He was really the odd guy out. I mean, he was doing some good things for us, some things that people, feel that he wasn't, you know what I mean? But, that's water under the bridge right now. Nevertheless, that it's been a 360 in 3 years, and the Bills are, championship caliber right now. So, I'm really ecstatic about that.
Yeah. I want to read this statement that the Pagulas put out today on the Sean McDermott contract extension, which I think, to me, it speaks volumes of what Sean has been able to come in there and do. And we've known that even going to the hockey team Sabres, Pagulas, they get rid of people quick, man. They don't wait. So for them to give these two guys full power and then to prove
Can't
it,
be losing money. Yeah, you can't be losing money now. You know,
yeah.
it's an investment. It's an investment. So, you know, you got to look at their investment with the Bills. It's a great investment. They're getting a great return off the investment. So let's get this guy out of the way. Let's lock him up, get him out of the way, and now we can focus on what's going on with the Sabres internally.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, you know, yeah.
So I want to read the statement. This is from Terry and Ken Pagula today. Sean's leadership on and off the field has been nothing but genuine and transparent qualities we appreciate as owners. He is the same great person to us, the players, and everyone across all of our organizations. We'll never forget how impressed we were during his first interview. Sean's attention to detail was apparent back then, and his process-driven approach has brought great stability to our organization. We are happy to extend his contract and keep him in Western New York for many years to come. Signed, Terry and Kim Bagula with dollar signs behind it. Checks.
Cha-ching.
Right, and mind you, they gave him. He's on a deal for 6 years now. Now it's 6 years. It used to be a lot for a head coach, but after the Carolina Panthers gave Matt Rule, a guy who hasn't coached one down in the NFL, 7 years, and the Raiders obviously gave John Gruden that 10-year crazy deal they gave him. 6 years isn't far-fetched. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get the money details out of it. We probably won't because they keep all that stuff in-house.
You know, hey, you know, it's anywhere between $4 to $5 million possibly.
You think so per year?
Kind of elevator or something. Who knows? But it's somewhere in that ballpark. You know, somewhere in that ballpark. I mean, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, he deserved it. You know what I mean? All right. We ain't pocket watching by a long shot, but we appreciate to know that he's going to be here for the next 6 years, and the Pagulas can afford it.
Right. So, hey, before we go, I'll read some of these comments off and some questions. Let's see, I know my man Timothy Lewis Jr. Had a nice comment on it. He said, "Life couldn't get any better than this. Coach McDermott got paid on my birthday. Whoop whoop." And happy birthday to you, my man, Tim. Happy you have a good one.
Tell Coach to throw you a few dollars then. You know what I mean? Like that, throw me a few.
Let's see. Jay King says the process must continue.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I'm telling you now, it's contagious. Like, it's a lot of people, you know, probably on the phone with those guys. Man, I got to get up there. Don't be surprised if you see some more splashes going on, because players is talking, man. Yeah. You know, when the players is talking, it goes viral. So don't be surprised if, you know, Bills make some more moves and, you know, they keep mimicking the same thing. I want to come here because, man, hey, you know, I like what they got going on in Buffalo now. I mean, like all that stuff you hearing now, you have not heard that in years. You know what I mean? So there got to be some sort of truth to it because everybody's saying it, you know, so.
Right. All right, my man Justin Parcell says, Beane and Frazier, but I think Frazier will be a head coach in the near future. And I know Timothy Lewis also asked, what should we do about Frazier? Now, it got caught up in the middle of COVID season, but they gave Frazier a little bit more money and a promotion of a title. They moved him to was assistant head coach now and a little bit of a pay bump. So they took care of Frazier first to start this rolling, but it got caught up in the middle of COVID season, so it kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah, he good money. He all right. He chill. You know, he chill right now. He all right where he at. You get that Super Bowl, then hey, and if another job opportunity presents itself, then
right.
You know.
My man Mario Canedo Jr. says, I'm not sick from the loss to Houston. Made the Mafia hungrier. The Bills are here to win. We'll win the AFCs and go to the Super Bowl and win it. Confident man there. Hey, if you're so confident, man, I challenge you to get the tattoo. Get the tattoo right now. I dare you. I dare you to get the tattoo. And I'll take one more comment and we get ready to wrap it up here in a second. Let's see. My man Daniel Robertson, TC Pride Stand Up, says he thinks Trey White should be the first one to get the extension. So we'll see what happens. I think Trey gonna win.
You know, if this was the Fruit Belt Rockets, you know, I'll take care of all my guys. You'd have been got hit, but it's a business. You know what I mean? It's a business. We gotta make sure that all the pieces around him that allows him to be him are intact too. But, you know, he's going to get paid. Trey ain't tripping. You know, he understands the process. I mean, you're going to be mad that they're going to give you $12 million this year or 1 year? You're going to be mad about that? Just take it how they keep giving it to you. That's only he can control. He can't control that. You know what I mean? So Why worry about it? He know it's going to, whatever it is, he's going to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. He just doesn't know what year is going to be.
Right. Right. And you know what? And the funny thing is about Trey, he actually released a tweet today, congratulating his coach and said, he actually said Brandon Beane throwing out money, but Brandon Beane didn't give Sean McDermott this deal with the Pagulas, because do not forget the hierarchy in Buffalo goes. Sean McDermott, it's unusual, but he's higher than Brandon Beane on the totem pole. He hired Beane, like Mookie alluded to a couple times here. So make sure you keep that in mind. That's very, very important going down the line in the future. And talk about Trey White. Me and Mallory, we got a pod coming out this week. I haven't released it yet, but we're gonna release it end of this week. I'm asking a question: is Trey White sensitive, man? I want to know. I think he may be a little bit sensitive. He got a little thicker skin, but that's gonna come out towards the end of the week. But make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the Bills Yak podcast. Me and my guy James Mallory, and we'll take one more comment here. Ray Cruz says the vibe go around with the Bills players. It seems like the Bills may have the inside track to re-signing and extending their own. What do you think?
And that's the recipe. I mean, the guys that you bring in, especially the guys that you draft. Mm-hmm. You want to keep them around. You draft those guys to re-sign them when their contract is up. It's just that, okay, years go on and players progress, some digress, and that's when you figure out, okay, do we pay this guy before his contract is up, or do we pay him, when his contract is up? Do we let him test the market? So, I mean, all those stuff weighs in, and everybody is different when you draft. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but the number one rule is to make sure that you sign all the guys that you draft, and they're doing a good job in that money player department. You know what I mean? So they're not too far off track. If they just got to make sure that the numbers are together and it's right for management and the player. You know what I mean? So once they get that together and it's a deal, then we playing ball again. So it's just a process. It's just a process that we all have to wait it out and see.
Right, and we'll take one more comment because we got one coming in really late here. Major Cole says I'm a little late in signing on. That's all right, Major. You're right on time. We got to replay, go catch the recap. Sign on, but so it may have been addressed already. My question is, as far as GMs go, do you believe Doug Whaley moves were restricted by management? Actually, make sure you go back and watch this because we definitely touched on it, and I think. Oh, definitely. He was.
Absolutely. He didn't 100%. Have full reign as a general manager to be a general manager, but he did make some good moves. And I can tell you, he definitely showed Sean McDermott how to handle a draft room. Not to say that he hasn't been in it before, but, just in that realm of that passing of the torch, because right after the draft, Whaley was gone, so. Right. It was, certain things that, I'm quite sure that he picked up on. McDermott, he's like a sponge, man. He's like a sponge. He can absorb things, and he's very cerebral when it comes to things. That's why he likes those type of players, So he speaks that type of language. So he done a good job, from the Whaley regime, as far as Whaley drafting and McDermott being draft. I think there's similarities in the styles of drafting. But these guys are just dead on, and they know what they're looking for in reference to building their team. Whaley didn't have that opportunity that, that these two guys, that this pair has.
Right. And, I want to talk about Doug Whaley, too, and I don't want to spend too much more time on it. You have to remember, he didn't have a partner in crime because, like I said, he never got to hire his own coach. Russ Brandon was there. When he got there, he had to kind of push out a lot of the old Bill staffers that was under Ralph out the door to get his staffers in. And no, he wasn't given the power. He got caught up in the over ownership switch. He didn't have the power to negotiate his own contracts either. Jim Overdorf can negotiate all contracts. And also any personnel moves, he had to get those personnel moves approved by Russ Brandon first and foremost before he could do anything. So no, he didn't really have power. What he really was a glorified scout, essentially with a GM title as a scapegoat. That's just my opinion. These are facts that we're spitting.
Yeah, he didn't really have no support because all his support, they've been gone. So he was just left just him in the building. No allies, it's just him. Rex Ryan realized that, and that's why it was, there was friction. And, right. And that friction Whaley caught that coming in, so he didn't want to go through that. So he didn't feel comfortable with the general manager, and that writing was on the wall. Right after McDermott signed because of that was floating around. So
right.
And it's just a
one
business.
more question, I promise, because I want to get, because I know Keon asked this twice. I don't want to miss it. Do you think the Bills are done bringing in players?
Yeah, you asked this twice, and we already said that already. I just said don't be surprised if the Bills make some more splashes. Due to the fact that these players they keep talking about, man, I wanted to come somewhere where we had a good chance to win. And man, you done heard 3-4 players say that already. We talking seasoned veterans.
AJ Klein just said today again.
Yeah, again. And if he's saying that type of stuff, best believe that thing is getting tossed around the league, man. They talking. You know how we do, Keon. We coach the kids. The coaches, the kids know everything. The players know everything in this line of work. So yeah, it's no joke what's going on in Buffalo. Like I said, we might see Mike Barron. You might see Mike Barron.
Makes sense.
They're going to start opening it. There's going to be more OTA style practices now. So coaches got the antennas up extra heavy right now to see where things are. Do they need to bring a guy in? You know what I mean? Because they can't wait to pull the trigger on, what's left out here as far as, these free agents. Got to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you now, if we got some nickel situations going on, if they're not happy about what's going on at that nickel, hopefully my guy Saran Neal be able to pick up that slack. Teron Johnson can be healthy enough and develop, in his third year here. If they're not getting that, you're going to see a veteran there. And hopefully, it could be potentially Mark Barron.
Well, we brought in Maurice Alexander last year for a similar role. It didn't really work out, but Mark Barron's a different animal, different beast. I don't know if Deion Buchanan is out there. I don't know if he's still out there. That could be a name that could pop up.
Yeah, we're missing that hybrid. We have you got the somewhat in Milano, but a more athletic hybrid. Mark Barron fits that mold because he's safety at Alabama, but he fits that role now in the NFL.
Right. So I think we pretty much cover it all, man. I mean, Brandon Beane, Brandon Beane's next. I think within the next 3 weeks, Brandon Beane will be done as well.
He's on the clock. He's definitely on the clock. He's most definitely on the clock. So it's just a matter of time. It's really no rush. We know it's going to happen, just as well as we all know that Tre'Davious White is, that deal is going to happen. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. It's going to happen. Just hold your water. It's coming. Josh, it's coming. Tremaine Savage is coming. And once those guys are locked up, you look around, just about everybody else is going to be on contract or, retire at that point. Hopefully we should have a few championships underneath our belt to send those guys off the right way.
Definitely. But hey, guys, it's normal. This was kind of impromptu live, but big news happened. We have to talk about it. That's what we do. We get together as a family, a Bills Mafia family, and we talk about it. But hey, I want to thank my guests as always. We're making this thing. We did like 2 Wednesdays in a row. Maybe we'll do next Wednesday again. Maybe we start doing Wednesdays,
Right, yeah, Wednesday. What's going on with this Wednesday thing?
Yeah,
winging it Wednesdays.
winging it Wednesdays, man. Winging it Wednesdays, man. But we keeping social distancing going. But yeah, I want to thank my guest, man, Mookie Hawkins, Wolfo 1080, Power 96.5. What you got going on? What you got new coming down the pipe?
Well, we got this Bills World thing going on. We got my girl Michelle Visa. She's down with the squad now. So we got a few projects lined up with her. Internet radio. So we'll have the Cold Front have their portion. On this internet radio and the Yak podcast as well. So, we working, we still grinding, making sure that, we can give you nothing but the juicy stuff and the official coverage, man, of what's going on with our Bills, man, with the help of you guys.
Right. So, like I said, guys, make sure you stay tuned tonight. The guys be going live. Clayton Garrett, I think Fred Kilmartin be one of Brandon Sturman. They'll be going live tonight. Doing a live Q&A with you guys for the late crew. Right now on the West Coast, like 4 p.m. So everybody probably stuck in that COVID traffic. So we
got some Bills fans out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, we got Bills fans everywhere, internationally known.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. As I'm gonna sign off we're gonna sign off, man. As my man Mario Canedo saying, all I can say is you digs. You digs. Catch you next time.
No Fournette, Keon. That's a wrap.